Hey y'all, it's Manda with Tap Mom and the Big Brigade. I hope everybody's having a good Thursday night. I missed a night. Oh, please forgive me. Oh, please forgive me. My birthday was pretty good though. Um, Forgive me, y'all. I am exhausted. I didn't sleep much last night at all. Just my brain wouldn't shut off. It just wouldn't. But yesterday I got up and got myself all prettied up. I will insert a picture, although my clothes were all disheveled from walking, and I had my purse. I wear my shirt, my purse cross-bodied, across my body for security. If you're in public, that if you just hold it over your shoulder like so, it's kind of easy for folks to get it away from you. But if you wear it, kind of over, have a big long, strap like this. If it's long like this and you kind of put your arm through it like so, it's a little harder for folks to get it away from you. And when you live in a city like Shreveport, the crime rate is kind of high in some places, and we were going downtown, and so I was going to wear it like that for more secure, so it's a little harder for someone to come up and snatch it. So yeah, I wear my purse like that, but it doesn't, it makes my clothes kind of crooked. But I did put makeup on because I wanted to look pretty for my birthday. And so I went out and got Vince, and yeah, I'm tired, y'all. And then we went to the festival, and I will insert some pictures at the end. I had to say, we went, early in the day before, a lot of the performing type stuff, art type stuff, where you can go make stuff. They have little art workshops, mostly for kids, kids type stuff. So we kind of went earlier in the day, around lunchtime, and that because it was free to get in if you went before 5 o'clock, and that was the goal, to get in free. And now when we first go in, and you'll see this in the pictures, there's these big sculptures of the Day of the Dead types sculptures, and I got pictures of those because it was really cool, and they were done up spectacularly, and I was so impressed with those. I was like, wow, this is going to be some cool art to see, sculptures and all the detail, and this is great. Then I went and looked at the booths. I knew we didn't have a lot of money to work with. We had the Visa gift card that Amy had sent that I figured we would spend on drinks and maybe food if we wanted, but I had eaten before I went, and I guess he had eaten before we went, so neither one of us were hungry. And but they had this system where they had these little digital wristband things. And so I loaded the gift card onto that wristband, and we only used enough to get a bottle of water each. So I still have money on that wristband. So the plan is to take Johnny and go back tomorrow and get food. So I'm going to take Johnny there tomorrow before they, early, before they charge an entrance fee again, just to get food. So that's the plan, since there's still money on that little wristband. So me and Johnny will go spend that tomorrow. But anyway, so we got in there and we started going through the booths. And I would say probably 80% of the booths were paintings. And don't get me wrong, I used to paint. Several of my friends paint. Eva used to paint, still can paint. I know people that paint and do very well at painting. And so it's it's a very common talent. I was hoping, and I guess I had built up this image of what I wanted it to be, and I was so excited thinking they were going to have all these different arts and all these different mediums, that it would be spectacular, you know, and it was mostly paintings. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they had all different styles of paintings. You know, there was abstracts and landscapes, and a lot of paintings of alligators and Louisiana type scenery and stuff. I'm like, we're from Louisiana. We know what that stuff looks like. Not impressed. And they had some jewelry. There was really only one booth that had jewelry that I liked, and one pair of earrings was over $100. And well, your girl didn't have that kind of money at all. After I paid bills, no, we got grocery money after we paid bills, and that's all we got. Let me tell you that the bills are killing me this month. So no, I got money for groceries and gas, and that's it. So no, there was no buying any of the stuff at the booths because it was all too expensive. It was way too expensive. And of course, you know, the only reason why Vince went is to keep me company and to hold my hand and, you know, be with me. So he was just as broke as me. So, but I enjoyed looking at it. It was very beautiful. The one jewelry that I liked. The other jewelry was a bit on the teeny bopper side, you know, immature, you know, for children, which I get. You know, there's a lot of kids going to be coming, you know, after, you know, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be bringing their children, and that's, you know, that's how they're going to make their money, is by people bringing their children. And so that's great. But you know what I didn't see? I didn't see one fiber artist. I didn't see no crochet, no amigurumi, zip, nada. I was disappointed, to say the least. I told Eva, because I went out and visited with Eva today, I said, me and you, we need to do a booth at the Revel, because we could clean up, because nobody else was doing it. Nobody. I don't know if it's, I have to look into it. We have to price everything and see if it's even worth our time. But that might not even be something they allow, is crochet. But seriously, we could sell, because the cheapest thing I saw was $30. Everything was expensive there. Everything was expensive. The sweaters that I sell for $80, I could probably get $150 for easy. I kid you not. Expensive. So, yeah. Might be worth it. I don't know. It's something to check into. Me and Eva talked about it. We're thinking about it. We're going to do some checking and see. But, yeah. But it's a week-long thing. It's a week-long deal. So, we'd have to have a lot of inventory. That's a lot of crocheting, y'all, for a week-long deal. You know, I don't know. That's a lot of work. So it's just something to think about, because that's a lot of work. But yeah, but they did have the hand blown glass. There's a company, a place here in town that does the hand blown glass with all the different colors. And so I did take pictures of that, and that's going to be part of the pictures that are at the end of the video. So I want y'all to be able to see that. I didn't do any crochet in the last 2 days, so forgive me. Because me and Vince, when we finished with the festival, and I did a lot of walking, and I was so proud of myself. We did get a little bit hot, because it was in the upper 80s, but there was a nice breeze going, so it wasn't too bad. But we did get hot and sweaty. So when we got back to his place, we took cool-off showers, because we were sweaty. But I didn't know it, but he had some dinner in the crock pot. So he slow cooked some a brisket in the crock pot with some potatoes. It was very nice. And so they had that for dinner. And then we watched a documentary about a whale. It's on Hulu, in case y'all might want to see it. It's really good. It's the 50, they call the whale 52. It was because this particular whale was had his frequency, his song, because all whales have songs, you know, they make sounds under the water. And this particular whale back in the late 80s, early 90s, was broadcasting or her singing on a frequency that was 52, I think, megahertz or some. They just, 52 was his frequency, and they didn't hear any other whale on that particular frequency. So he was just constantly on that frequency and getting no reply. So that there become this whole big sensationalized thing about this whale was the loneliest whale in the world, because they weren't hearing any other whales. And this was the Navy recording this, and some equipment that they had in the ocean at the time, and the recordings were classified for a long time, and so the documentary guy had to go through great lengths to get the recordings so that he could go on the hunt to try to find this whale. But no other whale was coming back with that frequency. So it was a real big deal. It was a lot of people were really awestruck by the loneliness of this whale, and the perception that he was lonely because no other whale was broadcasting, so to speak, at that frequency. And they were thinking that he was either a fin whale or a blue whale, based on the sounds he was making. And so this documentary guy, he got a bunch of scientists and a dude that had like 30 years experience with whales off the coast of California. And after doing some research, that particular scientist said, I think I might have tagged that whale. And he said, I saw when he was talking about when he was out tagging, and that there was a fin whale on one side of this one whale and a blue whale on the other, and then there was a hybrid of the two swimming between them. And he said, and that is the only time he'd ever seen a hybrid whale with those particular markings, and that he had tagged him and got a tissue sample of him, and that he was waiting the results of that tissue sample. And so they were really excited about what was going to come out of of those test results. But they did go out on the sea and they did a bunch of tests. They let off a bunch of equipment to listen to see if they could find 52, and they were unsuccessful in finding that. But later on, there was some other acoustic equipment. Don't get me started on the details because I don't remember. But what they ended up finding out, there wasn't one whale broadcasting at 52 hertz or megahertz or whatever. There were two. So the moral of the story, there was not one lonely 52. They were two. And as far as they were able to ascertain, this was a hybrid of the fin whale and the blue whale. So that's why the frequency was so unheard of before, and that why they weren't hearing anything coming back and answering him, because he was an anomaly. He was unexpected that they would be a hybrid of those particular species of whale. And so now there's a whole generation of hybrid species of that whale, as far as they could tell scientifically without laying hands on that whale. But as far as they were able to figure out based on equipment that they had deployed out off the coast of California. So how exciting is that? So he's not the loneliest whale in the world. There happen to be two of them at least. So anyway, it was kind of romantic. If us folks that are into nature and into sea life in general, and Vince and I are, and we're into stuff like that. And and when we started watching that documentary and how they thought that the whale was lonely, and then at the end when they discovered that there were two of them, we just kind of looked at each other, and it was a moment, It was a very sweet moment. Now, he did give me a birthday card. Let me see what I did with it. Oh, what did I do with it? Oh, it's over there across the room. Anyway, he did give me a birthday card but it's over there, and I'm really exhausted, so I'll show that to you later. later. Now, Eva did get me something for my birthday, but she's having it sent from Amazon, and when it arrives, I will show it to y'all. She got me a fancy ball winder, and so I'm looking forward to that. And I think it's probably something I'll have to put together, but that's okay. I can follow directions and put things together. I can do that. But we did have a nice little visit, just relaxing and petting her dogs and enjoying the sounds of the countryside. And she lives further out in the woods than Vince does, even though both places are pretty quiet. But of course, she had to drive further on the back roads to get to her place than his. I can get to his in 20 minutes, and it takes me over an hour to get to hers. But I'm glad to be home and just relax and talk to y'all for a little bit. I hope all of y'all are okay. I will do, I think I'm gonna wait. I'm pretty tired tonight, so I will wait and do a members only video tomorrow. So I will just, I'm still gonna do one this week. It'll just be tomorrow, because I really just need to find some decent food instead of snack food that I've managed to do all day, snack and not actually eat food. So I'm going to go find some of that, and maybe actually pick up crochet while I wait on my medicine to kick in so I can go to sleep. But just forgive me, y'all. I only slept about 3 hours last night, and then I drove out to, drove a round trip 150 miles, so I'm tired. But I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Me and John will go back to the festival tomorrow and get us some food that we don't normally get to eat. I have a whole booklet. I left it in the console of the van, but there's a whole booklet listing all the different foods and everything, and that'll get Johnny out of the house for a little while, and we'll go and eat something, and maybe go through maybe they'll have some different stuff to look at tomorrow, and we'll go back through and look and see what's what. But of course, we're still too broke to buy any of that fancy stuff. And we're only going because we got money on that little wristband that I don't want to go to waste. And so, yeah, we're just going to go spend the money on that wristband and eat, and maybe listen to some music if they're playing any, and come back home, because I can't afford to do anything else. But that's enough. That's enough. It's been a good birthday. I can't complain. Much love has been thrown my way, and I'm very happy. So I will let y'all go for now, and I will hopefully have some more for y'all tomorrow. But please know that I love you, and so does Jesus. And of course, remember to adopt, don't shop. Your best friend could be waiting for you at the shelter or the rescue. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.